Blue Lock is back, and it's heat. In this chapter, we see the match starting, and both teams are going crazy from the start. But to know more, you will have to wait. But trust me, there is a ton more stuff, so get ready. Alright, so starting off this chapter, also called 1 to Infinity, we see the Blue Lock Stadium, and we also start to hear the commentators. They say that it's the final match of Group A. The winner of this fateful battle will advance to the knockout tournament. With that, we also see a bunch of supporters all over the world as they then continue and say that the world's attention is on this red-hot match, and that's none other than Japan versus England, of course. And with that, the match is about to begin as we start to see the players walking out. We see Teddy walking right by Yukimiya, which truly looks pretty dope. On top of that, we see England's formation, but it's really hard to see. What I can say is that Agi is the main striker on the England team, which is always a plus because he is cool. We then cut to Teddy, who of course is the England New Gen 11, and he over and over again explains that he is just a worthless puppet. Isagi seems to be looking towards him, but just then we see Agi going to greet him. He tells Isagi that it's been a minute, and then asks Isagi if he remembers him. But before he can continue, Isagi tells him that of course he does, and that he always remembers cool people, which is just so wholesome. After that, we see a big panel with most of the England players, and Agi tells Isagi that it's an honor, and that they should find out which of their teams is crazier, saying that this will be a battle of aesthetics. Isagi seems a bit nervous, but tells Agi that he is on, and calls him Mad Doctor, and that nickname doesn't get enough praise that it deserves, as it's for sure up there with some of the coldest in the series without a doubt. Right after that, we see Fox, who turns out to be England's coach. He looks like he has taken a bunch of crack. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad at me for saying that, but it's true, as he looks absolutely wasted and like a gremlin. Anyways, he speaks up and explains that he is 0 to 1. We then move closer to him, which I wish that we didn't have to do, but he continues and says that he can't believe that they get to face off as coaches, and calls out to Ego. But guys, that line right there is so cold. It doesn't like confirm that they played against each other before, but it for sure heavily implies that they did, and I will go with that, and that just brings more towards the Ego lore. Ego then goes to Fox and tells him likewise, asking him what England was thinking when they made him their coach. Fox just seems to then get a super creepy laugh before telling Ego that he is as annoying as always, telling him that the Japanese association must be dumb if they hired him. However, after that, he starts to get a pretty creepy smirk as he looks right at Ego while telling him not to worry, as today's the day that he will obliterate his foolish soccer fantasies. Ego just looks right at him with a pretty stoned face. After some time, he tells him that it's fine with him and that the time has come to see which of their soccer aesthetics lives on in the new era. And that line is also just so dope, like they obviously know each other really well. So I'm praying that we will get some sort of flashback between them throughout this match, or else I will be sad. Anyway, with that out of the way, we see that the kickoff has started, and Blue Lock has the ball as Isagi passes the ball to Karasu. While doing so, we get into Isagi's head as he thinks that it's on right now. He looks back at Karasu and thinks that he is the anchor of their attacks. With Hiyori in the front, Zantetsu to the right, and Yukimiya on the left, the four of them will form a diamond shape. Once again, just think about how insane it is to finally see both Yukimiya and Zantetsu being chosen as starters. It truly feels like Christmas in this game. Then back to Isagi, who thinks that their main finisher is Shido. Then he is there to support them and confuse the enemy, explaining that it's their basic formation. On top of all that, he is free to then devour the Karasu-centered formation and score his own goals, as that was his mission from Ego. Now that is really massive. I was a bit afraid that Isagi would be like a side character this match. However, with that line, there's no need to worry anymore, as when the time comes, he will for sure strike. And he is without a doubt getting a goal in this match, I can promise you. Anyway, back to the boy Isagi, who thinks that even with that, the team is fully Karasu's now, and if he wants to regain the top spot, then he needs to win with his own goals, and show them a new Isagi, which once again is just so extremely dope. I bet it's pretty clear right now that I really like Isagi. But with that, let's get back to the action, as Karasu sent over the ball to Isagi, who later sent it right over to Hiyori, who trapped it really coldly. Hiyori looks around for a quick second before saying that it's time for a tempo boost. With that, he doesn't waste any time, as he sends the ball flying over an England player who looks pretty familiar. I'm sure he was playing in the Neo-Egoist League from Manshine. We then see the ball which Hiyori sent away. It went towards Zantetsu, who traps it, and explains that he is switching on the Smash England Zantetsu mode. Which I mean, sure, it's not cold at all, but for some reason, it kind of becomes really dope, just because Zantetsu is the one saying it. However, just then, we see one of the England player coming right by Zantetsu, and telling him that the weak link to Crush is totally obviously. He then lets out a cat noise from the sound of it, which from the translations yesterday we thought that it was his name, but it sounds like his name is instead Niang, which is basically the same thing, to be honest. just a different spelling. He then looks smugly at Zantetsu while telling him that it's 1 to infinity. Zantetsu seems to be getting decently sick of him, so he tells him to be silent and then joins him by also letting out some cat noises, which strange guys attract strange guys, I guess. Anyway, while he is fighting with the ball, we see Karasu coming behind him and screaming out for the ball. Zantetsu manages to turn around and sends the ball towards him, and then once again lets out a cat noise. Like, bro, what is happening? We are like 5 panels into the match at most, but it's pretty fun, so I don't really complain. But while that goes on, we then see 3 of the England players getting ready, and with that, we then see that all 3 of them are gathering around Karasu, and are going to try their best to shut him down as the ball gets closer to him. Karasu seems really caught off guard and annoyed by this, as he starts to wonder if they have found out that he is the foundation already, wondering if they already have a counter strategy in play. But Karasu doesn't seem to have to worry too much, as we see the puzzle pieces starting to gather right around Isagi, as while having his meta vision out, he thinks that it's spot on, and that they are going to try and target Karasu. Because of that, he is going to devour this spot. With that, we see Isagi coming right by the ball before it was going to Karasu, which is pretty sick. It reminds me a bit of the Neo Egoist League, when he was constantly trying to steal the balls from his teammates. Zantetsu then screams out to him and compliments him, but sadly, we then see Teddy, who tells Isagi that he sees him, and with that, he looks more locked in, or more dead, as he then tackles the ball right from Isagi's feet. Isagi starts to smirk right at him, while telling him that it wasn't bad, and calls him a worthless puppet. Teddy just speaks up, and says that it's 1 to infinity. But while the ball is in the air, we see something insane as we spot Shidu, who comes and leaps right into the air. He goes to the ball and says that the final figure in the opening act is Cream Pie Man, and honestly, after hearing that, we have to set our foot down somewhere. Shidu can't go around in the World Cup saying stuff like that. That is truly outrageous. Anyway, we then see some of the England players, who say that he's jumping. With that, we see them going right by each other, and jumping right in front of the shot that Shidu sent, and this panel is sick, as they have a whole knight behind them as their spirit thing. The ball obviously goes into the air, and Shidu seems really shocked as he says that they're like a wall. Karasu also seems really annoyed by this, but we then move to Isagi, who is on the ground, and he says that speed, pressing, contact, blocking, all the players coming at them have crazy abilities. He continues to think and says that despite that, the whole team is defending with regimented coordination. He starts to look wild while wondering if this is the army. But no, he has just finally figured out the insane strength of the U20 England soldier soccer, and once again, this is a flawless panel. We also see that Teddy is getting the ball, and Fox looks really smug once again as he explains that he is 0 to 1, and with that, Teddy agrees before saying that they are going to turn 1 into infinity. Luckily, it doesn't seem like there is a break week now, which is amazing, and on top of that, the next chapter will be called The 7 Knights, which is awesome. That has to be some sort of formation that they are going to hit the Blue Lock team with, as they now have the ball after all and are most likely heading for the attack. I don't have too much time to talk about this week's chapter, sadly, but one thing that I have to bring up is that Shidu panel. Man, the authors are actually crazy for making him say that. I'm not sure if he has said that before or not, but yeah, that really took me by surprise, as it's wild. Personally, I thought that this was a pretty good start to the match, and I would give this chapter a solid 8 out of 10. But please let me know what your favorite moment was in this chapter, and also what your rating would be for this chapter. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like. Also, if you can, hype the video down below, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.